Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Is This Seat Taken, where today we're trying to finish up the New York map here. We're getting closer to the end of the game, and these are definitely getting a little bit more stringent, a little bit more difficult. Alright, so what do we got here? We got people who want to take photos of the view. It doesn't look like we have too much of that. Does anybody have any restrictions about the direction they want to face? Okay, I get dizzy at the back of the boat. That's good to know. We can put you way away from anybody who might smell. You want to be alone and you don't like bad smells. We know this is going to be a smell-free zone at the front anyway. You don't want to be splashed by the water. You can be up here. Get sunburned easily. Huh. Alright, so you gotta be near somebody who's sharing sunscreen. I see. I was looking at that like, what could that possibly... How could we possibly counter that? But I see. Alright, party people. Maybe over here. You get sunburned easily, so you also want to be near... There we go. Everybody gets to hang out and just... Oh, wait, you don't want to be next to... Okay, the person who wants to take photos. Don't like bad smells. Is this close enough to share sunscreen? No. Well, it seems like a problem then, right? Because we only have one person who has sunscreen to share, and we have so many people who want to mooch. What are you guys doing signing up for the trip without... Okay, if we move you forward a space, yeah, then that makes you no longer able to... I guess, okay, maybe you have to sit in the middle? Okay, there we go. You can feed to the four seats around you like that. And then you all just want to take photos. Can you? No, you can. Yeah, you can still hear the partying. Okay, well. You two... Okay, you two are not smelly. Can we just run you up here? There we go. It's kind of low-key partying. It only bothers people who are directly next to you. And anybody who's not going to be personally poked by your edges can't even tell that you're doing it. Okay, so we got this sunscreen mechanic now. Ollie wants to be near the front. You two got to be together, and you want to be in the middle. So let's put you in the middle there. Okay, sunburned easily. Is anybody else? Okay, you want to take photos of the view. You don't want to be next to Elijah. That seems... If Dahlia doesn't like bad smells, she already wasn't going to be next to Elijah. So that's no problem. You do want to be with Ollie. You do not want to be with Mateo. It looks like... Okay, it looks like it's pretty easy from here as far as the sunscreen stuff goes. You want to relax, so we probably don't want to put a party... Actually, a party person here totally works. And then... Your partying reaches slightly further forward. That's awkward. Okay. And then you can sit over here without being bothered by the party. That's awkward. Okay, you want to be with Ollie, and you want to be with... So actually, hold on. I had to rearrange some of this anyway, because you are going to have to be here. Okay, from there it's a little easier. So yeah, we're going to set up a party over here, and then... Oh, you need sunscreen too. Why? Okay, well... So these three have to be sitting all in a row. I guess this is another situation where I could move you to the middle. Pull you back here. So the three of you are now together. We can distribute sunscreen like that. There we go. Just a little tiny bit of spacing. You want to be with Hadley, that's fucking inconvenient. I mean, actually, we can just move you... Oh, no, that's right. God, what a huge group of people that absolutely insist on all being next to each other. What a huge and inconvenient group of people. Alright, we're gonna kind of move a lot of this down. Actually, maybe even... Can I move you all down one more seat and then do that? There we go. And you also want to party, but you don't want to be next to Mateo. And I thought that was going to be no problem. Damn it. Damn it, the noise. I don't suppose you could just, like, also party? Doesn't that seem like it would be fun? So we have the party crew here, who are necessarily all going to have to be together. Because there's 3 of them, so we can't break them up into 2 pairs. And they're gonna have to be, that party crew is gonna have to be next to Tijani. I mean, I can bounce you forward, and you don't care about the noise. Yeah, there we go. You don't care about the noise, you just have to still be on the side. Definitely more restrictive, these webs of personal links. Okay, so it looks like we only have 1 person with sunscreen this time. Don't want to be next to Teo, don't want to be splashed by the water. Do want to be with Nosley, do not like bad smells. Okay. Sunburn. So I definitely want to pull everybody who gets sunburned easily to the side, and then we gotta keep all the party people together. You can be somewhere else. You want to relax. You want to be alone. You get sunburned easily. You want to relax. Okay, so wherever the sunscreen sharing is, it's going to be a huge pain in the ass. We could probably move this stuff up here, and let's do the sunscreen sharing back here. So, like, you get sunburned easily. You forgot to shower. You can be as far from the unshowered person as possible. You get sunburned easily. And you have to be close enough to... Shit. Okay, the party people we can, and I guess must, split into 2 groups of 2. And are you close enough here? You're not. So I guess you have to be in one of the middle spaces then. Oh my god, everybody calm the fuck down. Yeah, in order for us to have room for all the party people... There we go. Yeah, because the smell only reaches directly across the aisle. It doesn't affect either of the seats to the side of that. Yeah, in order to have enough room for the party people and also that, we need the sunburned person not to be in the back seat. So then we have a bunch of people who want to, like, relax and shit. And all of a sudden that's become kind of awkward. You don't like strong odors, you could just be over here. Okay, that's just far enough away from all the noise. Yeah, it seems like the really important thing to do here is to find, like, the biggest restrictive group and start with them. Hey, aren't you that actor from the party in London? What a small world. Huh, you're mad at me. I deserve that. That day, my agent told me a younger actor got a part I really wanted. So when you said you wanted to be like me, I took it as a threat instead of a compliment. That was wrong. I'm sorry. If there's ever anything I can do to make it up to you... I mean, it sounds like given your position, there's a huge amount you could do, actually. Anything? How about sharing that sunscreen? Okay, so y'all want to be together, relaxed, and not being splashed by the water. Is this good enough? It is. Okay, so I could stack them up on one side, or we could spread them across if it makes more sense. All right, you have sunscreen to share, but you do not want to share with a child. And oh, it is all children from here. So let's see here. You want sunscreen. You need sunscreen. You need to be at the front of the boat. Okay. So party at the front of the boat. Except for Gray, who needs to be like far enough back. And only 2 of the kids want to borrow sunscreen. But right, they're not going to be considered to be partying unless they're actually sitting next to each other. Want to be next to another kid. Want to be next to another kid. Do not want to be next to Albert. That's easy enough. And then that just means you can sit over here. You can sit right here with Nat and make up for your behavior. That one was remarkably easy for being the final leg of one of the levels. Like even just that level, the 2 before that, I think were more difficult. Oh, I'm so nervous. Hey, it's gonna be okay. Planes are statistically the safest way to travel. But I don't even know which flight I'm supposed to be on. I can help. Let me see your ticket. Wait a second, this is a pilot's ID. I know. That's why I'm so nervous. Statistically, air travel may be the safest way to travel, but I think it weighs heavily on people's minds the way that we're just going to pull out the people who are in this flight first before I figure out where they need to sit. It weighs heavily in people's minds that the automatic failure mode for a plane is like very severe. You want to be with your parents. We can, at the very least, we can put the VIPs in here too. Okay. Ugh, you also don't like the cologne. We will use the child as a spacer. When you are an adult, it is perfectly reasonable to use your children as sort of social weapons. Okay. Oh, and you want to be with Atlas, which is not ideal. Okay, there we go. Wait, why is my flight number as HP19 not checked? That's the flight you're in line for, kid. You a little confused? Oh, right. It's because you're not supposed to leave gaps in the line. Not even for spacing out the stinky people. I do not want to fall asleep. Interesting. Okay, I want to be alone and I want to watch movies on my phone. I'm assuming that means you want to be next to... Oh, no. Okay, it tells us you're going to generate noise. I was thinking it also might mean being near the plug, but I guess not. I want to watch a movie on someone else's phone. I'm assuming putting you next to a movie person... Yeah, that does it, but we're not all happy. Oh, right, you wanted to be alone. There we go. That means you two need to both share off of that phone. Also, you know, we're in New York, so, like, the plane might be a pretty safe place to, a pretty safe way to travel, but an American airport is not necessarily a place that I would recommend being, if you can absolutely avoid it. Okay. you have VIP pass. You want some space in front of you, and you're going to play loud music. You're on a different flight. You're on a different flight. Do not like the smell of cologne. Okay, so this person is okay with just being out of the line, effectively. Okay, you're a VIP. You're a VIP, but you want to be at the front instead of at the back. That's fine. Okay, you're the only person from flight MR81, I believe. So... yeah, it's interesting that like a person who isn't explicitly looking for space in front of them can't be out of line with the others, but if you put them behind someone who is, they don't mind that there's a gap like 2 spaces ahead of them. That's kind of weird. All right, and then what else do we have going on here? Oh, right, I gotta look at the people on the bench because like some of them are also going to want to be at the thing. You want some space in front of you. Okay. That's all the people for that flight taken care of then. You want to charge your phone. Forgot to shower. You gotta be a little bit more considerate. Okay. Going to a public place like this and everything. Okay, near the boarding gate I guess just means on this bench. You want to sleep and forgot to shower. None of y'all have smell problems, right? I think we can... oh, the movie, right. Yeah, that movie phone being in the middle of the area is probably not actually very good. We probably want to move this group over to here, right? Oh, right. You have to... a desperate need to doom scroll. Listen, I understand. I don't think it's good for you, but I absolutely understand. Okay, you're gonna watch movies on your phone too. That's really annoying. You want to be alone. Well, you might have to just be alone at the other end of the bench, actually. But I put you over here so that you could get away from the smell, and now the smell has come home to roost. And there's really, like, there's almost nowhere that you could sit. We don't like bad smells. Strong smells are fine. But actually, we seem to have found, like, the little gap between all the smelly people. For real, though, if you're going to a place like an airport, you know, I can understand lots of things happen, connecting flights, whatever, but, like... please try to be considerate of others. Alright, who on the benches needs to be bumped into the queue? Probably not the VIP line. Alright, you want some space in front of you. You want some space in front of you. Wow. Alright, a lot of that space in front of me stuff going on here. Alright, OP65, there's just a huge number of people. You don't like bad smells. Okay. Is anybody else trying to get in these lines? It already seems impossible with the number of people who want some space in front of them. I'm assuming, yeah, they don't count space in front of the person that they're in front of. So nobody is explicitly nobody's explicitly a VIP this time. So let's see, we can move you down here to get you away from the phone, and that's the whole airplane queue worked out. Alright, you don't want to hear anyone else's phone. You don't want to fall asleep. You don't want others to see your phone. Looking for, like, okay, who wants chargers and stuff? That's going to matter a lot. Want to watch a movie on someone else's phone. It's wild that people are so eager to like share that personal space. Okay, you two need to be together. Oh my god, so dramatic. I mean, I say that, but it might be an allergy thing, right? It might be a literal breathing problem. Okay, you want to watch a movie on someone else's phone. You want to be in a position where nobody's looking at your phone. So we can put you back here. You just don't want to fall asleep. Probably swap you two actually to get you away from the cologne. Speaking of staying away from the cologne. Ah, god damn it. And I don't want to hear anyone else's phone. Well, now that there's a ton of phone noise going on, maybe we can just swap these two apart here. And does anybody down here have... Okay, you don't like the smell of cologne, but an unwashed body seems to be fine. Yeah, okay. You know, there's lots of people who are like legitimately made really physically uncomfortable, or indeed who have allergic reactions to some stuff that's in cologne that wouldn't have that same problem with body odor. So I guess it's not totally out of line. All right, VIP for MR81, first in line. Forgot to shower, don't want to hear anybody's phone. I was going to say, look here, we got a nice safe stink corner, but of course, somebody's got to come along and ruin it. All right, we'll deal with that in a second. Let me make sure I've got everybody who's actually supposed to be on this flight in here together. Okay, I do not like bad smells. Okay, so we're gonna have to move you back to like here. Yeah, everybody else we gained is vulnerable to the smells. Why is everybody gotta be so smelly? And you want to be in front, so we can't really change that. I guess I can... Well, no, I can't bump this person out of VIP. But I could put them down here. Run somebody else in the VIP space, and then do that. Your problem with cologne is because of your neighbor, not because of anything external that's being done to you. And then you can just get upgraded to VIP. There you go. Hospitality. That'll do something. Oh, okay. MR81. You want to be with your parent who has a VIP pass. Okay. That kept things pretty straightforward. Alright, so you forgot to shower and want to charge your phone. You want to watch a movie on someone's phone and be with your friends. You just want to be with your friends. Okay, so it's pretty easy, the three of them sitting together with Nat. Then we just have... Wants to sleep, wants to sit near the boarding gate. This is a little awkward because the phone noise is gonna... Can I move you up without breaking anything? Then I think this seat fulfills all of our requirements. Alright, easy. And it looks like we don't have quite so many people to deal with on this last one. Alright, VIP. VIP. Are there any additional VIP passes that I missed? Okay, there are not. So we really want to just take you to the front. Okay. I forgot to shower. Oh, sorry. I want to be first in line. You forgot to shower. Back of the line. Don't like strong odors and do want some space in front of me. The three of you need to stay together. So maybe this is more like this. Okay. Don't like strong odors. We can swap the phone. And that gets you out of odor range as well. Oh, right, just because of the gap. That's not a big deal, I think. You want to be first in line and not hear somebody's phone. You want some space in front of you, which you just are not going to be able to have. Sorry, you're going to have to deal with it. It's actually really annoying. Alright. Do not like strong odors. So you can go here. And then that... Shoot, you don't want to hear someone else's phone. How are we going to rearrange? Because we can't bring up the odor, right? Yeah, bringing up the odor would ruin some of our other positions here. So we have 12 spaces and they're all exactly spoken for, right? Because effectively, Victor takes up 2 spaces. Victor can't be close to the smelly person. I guess, like, a thing that's probably worth doing is swapping the gnat line to the middle. And then, do you have to be in front? You do. You don't want to hear anybody else's phone. At this point, moving you forward would no longer... it still exposes gnat to the smell, though. Can't we just, like, hose him down? Okay, what if... You don't need to be in this space. So what if I run Stinky back here? You want to be first in line, and then we just... Can I swap you? Alright, that's pretty close. You are still hearing a phone call. But I think we can probably just swap you two? Yeah, as long as we keep the three caballeros there together. I can't believe we won! The teacher even cried! Your script was so moving, Drew. Well, you two brought it to life with your acting. And the pièce de résistance? The cameo by Nat's famous friend Luca. Barcelona Film Fair, here we come. Whatever, at this point they're just getting they're getting the same voice. That's just how it is. Alright, and that is full stars in New York, which means new city unlocked, but first... Let's check out this bonus date night level. Okay, there is some stuff going on here, appearance-wise. Why are all of these people so similar looking? Okay. I want an intellectual and someone who wears a cap. How do I know if you're an intellectual? Is it glasses? Is it really just supposed to be person with glasses? Okay, you're an intellectual, but not someone who wears a cap. Sorry, that's the wrong kind of hat. I do not want someone who's always on their phone, and I do want someone who showed up in clown makeup, which will make me laugh. Okay. So you want someone who can cook and has a mustache? This is pretty silly. Chef with glasses. You want to match with another clown person. Someone who dresses elegantly without being an intellectual. Seems like kind of a grim, sort of a grim indictment of what you think of yourself or intellectuals or something there. clown with a mustache? No, no one wants a clown with a mustache. An intellectual who wears a cap for someone who dresses eloquently. Alright, you just want clown. Both of the remaining clowns are intellectuals. This one wants somebody dressed elegantly. So we can satisfy that need here. A clown chef for you. I do not want an intellectual. Okay, that's not unique information or unique identifying just yet. I want someone who wears a cap and specifically do not want an intellectual. Kind of feels like those two things combine to... I don't know if that's a thing you should be allowed to write in a dating profile. I also want someone who's like really into Roblox. It's just call the police. All right, you want an intellectual. That's not enough to go unique, I don't think. So someone with a mustache who doesn't dress elegantly, you know, that's also kind of awkward. Do we have somebody whose needs are a little bit more affirmative? Someone with a mustache who's not wearing a cap. That's most mustache wearers. Do not want someone in a band, and we know we know those glasses signify being in a band. Someone with a mustache who is not an intellectual. Yeah, so unfortunately, for almost everybody here, there's a whole bunch of different people who will fit. All right, who wanted people in a band? So there's 2 for I want someone in a band. One of them wants person in band without mustache. One of them wants nothing else. Let's try to figure out how we want to allocate our band people. Okay, the answer is that doesn't help. There are 2 people who fit both of those descriptions, and there's no overlap. Someone with a mustache is most of the people here. Someone that makes me laugh, who is not in a band. Okay, there's only 2 of those. That's interesting. Who else was looking for someone who makes them laugh? We might be able to suss something out here. Okay, you don't want someone who's always on their phone. Unfortunately, not yet uniquely identifying. Okay, so the top row, 2 of these clowns are spoken for. You want someone with a mustache who's not always on their phone. Put the mustache folk on the second row, I guess. Okay, you want someone with a mustache who is not an intellectual. That's kind of all of them. Yeah, for you it would have to be a band member or a clown. You want someone with a mustache who does not dress elegantly. So in theory, these 3 are probably spoken for at this point. And you must end up with the other clown. Someone in a band who does not wear a mustache. Okay. So then you want someone who's not always on their phone. Okay. That allocates all the clowns reasonably. And then you don't want an intellectual. You don't want someone who's always on their phone, and you don't want someone who dresses elegantly. You want to be with somebody who's wearing a cap. You do not want to be with somebody who's wearing a cap. You wanted to be with somebody who has a mustache. So the trait that we were looking for here was an intellectual, or was just a mustache. So you want someone with a mustache. You want a clown. So there's not a super easy swap here. Someone with a mustache who's not an intellectual. Actually, that swap's pretty easy. Yeah, because they're both just looking for mustaches and like basically no other qualities. What a weird, finicky group of people. All right, final seedings. Let's see if we can get anything. Wow, there's a lot of overlaps here. So we can see this is basically going to break down to intellectuals versus clowns right away. It's like an episode of Big Top Burger. Actually, you know what? Let me separate these people. If we only have two groups, let me separate them a little bit more so it's easier to mouse over the ones in the back rows. All right. So you want an intellectual who does not wear a cap. That means you're out, but it could be anyone else on this side. You want an intellectual who's not always on their phone. You want someone who makes you laugh and not an intellectual, but those two things only overlap in one person. You want an intellectual who does not have a mustache. An intellectual who can't cook. Okay, you want a clown. Not in a band. And you also want a clown. So everybody else here is looking for an intellectual. That's interesting. Unfortunately, it is complicated somewhat by the fact that there's a person who is both a clown and an intellectual. All right, so let's see. You want to be with someone who is a clown. You want an intellectual. So we'll leave you in the top area. You want an intellectual. You want an intellectual. You want a clown. You want a clown. Okay. So we have a half and half split on the clowns and a little bit less than that. A little bit more weighted toward intellectuals on the intellectual side. So, of the clowns who want an intellectual, these three have to be their partners, right? Because you four... Wait, why am I saying that? I said that, it felt so right in my head, and then the moment I took it out, like, the moment I had to make it concrete enough to speak it into the world, all of a sudden it doesn't look right, it doesn't look right anymore. And I think that's good. I think I caught myself thinking something that doesn't make any sense. Can I destroy any of this stuff? Take this wine glass. Oh, that's cool. The wine jiggles around in there. Okay, anyway, so the three clowns want intellectuals, two intellectuals want clowns. These ones all want to date within their pool, so they don't want any of these people. Except maybe you. How many people have 3 desires? Just you. Okay. An intellectual who isn't on their phone and doesn't dress elegantly. That eliminates all of them, unfortunately, leaving quite a few left here. Someone that makes you laugh and does not have a mustache. I think this is the only match for Ava. There's an intellectual who isn't on their phone, like it's only these 3 and the clown. You and all 3 of these want an intellectual, so I think we can lock this one in. Lock that one in for sure. All right, then we have 2 clowns that want to date intellectuals. You want somebody who's not always on their phone. And of the people who are not always on their phone, this is the only one who isn't seeking to date another intellectual. All right, you want an intellectual, but just kind of any type. So the only person that's left the only intellectual that's left that doesn't want an intellectual is Jesse. Then you two both want someone who makes you laugh, so I think you are just sitting together. You don't want somebody who has a mustache. You don't want somebody that can cook. Right, like this, it basically just has to be that, without even looking at their traits. The last 4 have to break down this way. I may have come at that second to last challenge there in a sort of a messy fashion, but I cleaned it up. Wow, I really didn't expect to see so many clowns here. How rude. Oh no, I meant like actual clowns. You know, red nose, big shoes. Well, most of us rode here together. In a tiny car? It's a normal car. Why do I always get matched with materialistic shapes? Oh, wait, I didn't mean it like that. You know, I would maybe leave the jokes to the clowns, personally. They know what they're doing. All right, so back to Barcelona we go for the final stretch, and I think let's just go ahead and get started on that next time. We wrapped up New York. This seems like a good clean break. So that's going to be the end of it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm still really enjoying this. I hope y'all are really enjoying it as well. When you come back next time, we're back to Barcelona, and we're kind of movie stars. Listen, we certainly starred in a movie. And if that doesn't fulfill all of our hopes and dreams, I don't know what will. So come back next time to see where the story goes from here, and we'll see you then.